Text. The 19th Amendment was signed into law August 26, 1920. This was the result of efforts from barrier-breaking women like Ida B. Wells, Alice Paul, and many other women. A poster of Ida B. Wells Barnett reads, "The way to right wrongs is to turn the light of truth upon them." A poster of Alice Stokes Paul reads, "There will never be a new world order until women are a part of it." Over 100 years later, women are still breaking barriers and daring to imagine. Women doing conservation work in parks are part of that tradition. Here are some of their stories. A photo shows a woman leaning on a horse reading, "Veronica Dickerson, I'm going back to school."
The day I filed for divorce, because it was never a good time to go back to school, according to my first husband. So the day I filed for divorce, I'm like, I'm going back to school. And so I applied to Northern Arizona University. They accepted my ancient credits, which I was surprised. And I started my undergrad in park and recreation management. And my older son, math was so easy for him, and not the motherly thing to do. You're not supposed to swear in front of your kids. I would get so frustrated with math. I kid you not, my 12, 13-year-old was tutoring his mother in college math. Part of the undergrad program was you had to do an internship. Let me talk to the superintendent of Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And at the time, the superintendent was Stan Austin. Stan said, you know what? Yeah, you can do your internship here. And when it got to the time for me to kind of shadow resource management, like this light bulb, I don't know, kind of went off. I want to do this. And if it wasn't for Stan, honestly, I don't know where I would be. I work as an environmental protection specialist and a safety manager, duty stationed in Cuyahoga Valley National Park. And I provide environmental compliance and safety services, if you will, to Cuyahoga Valley National Park, James A. Garfield, and First Ladies. So most of my time is spent cleaning up contaminated sites across the National Park Service. With the work we do, you have to be comfortable working with and talking with a variety of people. And you have to be comfortable with getting challenged, because it's going to happen. Someone's going to, they get a little ego going. And I've had it where I've had, a new project and someone called me and, well, how many of these sites have you done? And just kind of like an attitude. And, you can handle that one of two ways. You can get snarky right back, or you can say, I'm more than qualified to be working on this project. What is your next question? It takes time to develop that. I wasn't like that out of the gate. When you first start out, you're hesitant, you're very timid in your approach, because you're not yet comfortable in your own skin that you know what you know. And there have been times I'd be in a meeting and I'll say something and I'll get off the call going, where'd that come from? I didn't know I knew that. I was on a call and something made me take a look at the screen, because everybody's Brady Bunch pictures, we're up. And I stopped and I went, I'm the only woman on this call. But that's usually how it is. I feel like as a female, I have to be 3 steps ahead of everyone else. And rather than getting pushed back 2 steps, I might get pushed back 5. The key, at least for me, has really been not to get frustrated. There's certain things you just don't have control over. And the sooner you realize it and let it go, the better off you are.
Photos flash by.
People are shocked that we have land that's contaminated and it's sitting in a national park. The Kretschy dump site, it was a roughly 27 years in the making, if you will, from Alpha to Omega. And it was a family-owned salvage yard and dump that operated for years. It became part of the parks, Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and through law enforcement officers going and doing checks, people were getting sick, having headaches, things along those lines. So EPA became involved and did an emergency cleanup. And, those pictures of like drums oozing goo, like green and yellow. I mean, that's what we had there. And to be able to take such a big area and look at the images today, it's just, I get chills. I just got a chill. Because we finished the site, we issued the certificate of completion to Ford, which was one of the responsible parties. So the site is now deemed clean. You go out there and it's beautiful sedge meadows, highlands, wetlands. And to be able to have touched that and drive past that and go, wow, I had something to do with that. Sometimes you don't know if you're just ever gonna get there because it takes so much time. And we finally got there. We finally got there in December of 2020.
A home video shows a barn of horses in pens.
So my weekdays and my evenings are generally spent here in my barn with my horses.
Learn more about Dare to Imagine project and see other women in science stories at go.nps.gov/DTI. Illustrations by Cambria Bailey. A logo, National Park Service.